All right. Today we'll be reacting to Battlefield keeps making the same mistakes. By a popular FPS streamer Jack Frags. He is the go-to for all Battlefield news and all that other stuff. So we're gonna see, because Battlefield 6, I'm not gonna lie, it did not meet expectations. But let's see what he says, and then we'll talk about it later.
Season 2. I wanted to hold off on this video until we knew for sure what Battlefield 6 Season 2 looked like, and now we do, so here we go. We've got the Season 2 roadmap now, and in it we can see that over the next 3 months we will get 2 new maps, 4 new primary weapons, 1 new sidearm, 2 new gadgets, and 3 new vehicles. This is disappointing as a player and a fan of Battlefield, and I find myself more baffled than ever before, so I wanted to give some feedback in a video and express how I felt. From my perspective, the live service is failing just as dramatically as it did in the past, and it seems that many lessons have not been learned. Let's talk about maps first. Battlefield players come back for new maps. They want new biomes, they want variety.
Yeah.
They want new locations which act as a big sandbox in which to battle and experiment in. New places to explore, new things to blow up and destroy. We used to get 4 maps per season in BF3 and BF4. Some seasons in BF1 had 6 maps per season. 2 maps per season isn't enough to keep players engaged with the type of gameplay that Battlefield.
How many maps were there on launch? Be my question. Yeah, because only 2 new maps. Only 2 maps a season?
Battlefield 6 offers. Intense combat, quick time to engagement, smaller maps, a lack of depth, a lack of teamwork, and no hook in the basic persistence of the game to keep players coming back. The lack of post-launch content for Battlefield games began with Battlefield 5, when they switched to a live service model from premium, but EA haven't been able to deliver a satisfying experience for players in that regard yet. BF5, BF 2042, and now BF6 live service content simply don't have enough new maps. This confuses me because it's not like EA haven't had this feedback for years now. BF5 was revealed and released in 2018, so for over 7 years they've had feedback from players that there wasn't enough new maps per season. Surely they knew that this would happen, right? I thought at least for Battlefield 6, considering the hype, initial positive impressions, and sales for the game, that they might have planned better, stepped up, and held on to the momentum of the launch, kept that ball rolling, and grew the franchise with this massive opportunity. But instead, they've done the opposite. Post-launch content.
Because, the hype Battlefield 6 had after that beta leading up to its release, you would have thought that this would have been the second coming of Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 1. I mean, and this is also when COD was at its, it's still not in a good state, but it was like the FPS market was open for the taking. Like, people were just begging for a good FPS game, that a lot of people working on it, a lot of love poured into it, and Battlefield 6 was right there. It was there for the taking, and like Jack Frag said, they dropped the ball. It was like the game came and went. It's just like the game dropped. People played it for a week. I remember people talking about it, and then after that, people just stopped playing it. People stopped talking about it, and that was so crazy to me. Cause I was like, y'all was talking all that shit.
There hasn't been enough of it, and it hasn't been
all that
interesting enough. Players are leaving and not coming back. I'm not a game dev, but I'm left scratching my head thinking, why wasn't live service content built alongside the game years in advance, considering the lessons of the past? So hypothetically, let's say when the game released, they already had, let's say, 2 seasons worth of content ready to go, 8 maps, tons of new guns, vehicles, etc. That didn't happen. So I'm going to make some broad assumptions here. Why is it that Battlefield 6 so far has only had 2 maps per season? Let's throw a few ideas out there. First assumption, is it that they didn't listen to feedback from the last 7 years and they just failed to plan accordingly? Second assumption, is it Frostbite engine? Historically, developers have been outspoken about how difficult the Frostbite engine is to work with. So could it be that it simply takes far too long to make Battlefield maps? Third assumption, is it that EA can't hire enough map makers? If that's true, why can't they hire them? Are their salaries and benefits not competitive enough compared to the competition? There's a lot of good game studios in Stockholm, Los Angeles, Guildford, and Montreal, where the Battlefield studios are, so do EA need to step up and offer more for game devs to make working there more appealing? Keep in mind that EA just announced results of its third fiscal quarter, reporting a 38% jump in net bookings.
C has achieved massive financial success, with key highlights including 3 billion net booking milestone and plus 400 million dev budgets. Battlefield 6 reported as the best-selling game in the U.S. for 2025, marking a major comeback for the franchise. But I feel like that doesn't tell the whole story. Like, people bought the game, but people didn't stick around.
To over $3 billion. The success of Battlefield 6. It was also the best-selling game of 2025. Fourth assumption, 2 maps per season is by design, and they're just getting it very wrong. And the fifth assumption, Battlefield 6 wasn't really ready for release in October 2026. And the devs needed more time to work on the base game and seasonal content before launch.
I think
Whatever it is, it isn't enough for the players to stay engaged. And if they continue with this cadence of maps and content, the game will continue to bleed players, and they won't make much more money from the live service, from Battle Pass spending, MTX, store spending, etc. Will they care about that? I hope so. I hope that they care about the long-term experience for the players and the legacy of the franchise. We're going to talk about the tactics that they're using in their live service model now too. How I think it's outdated and show that it doesn't actually add anything meaningful to the game, and in fact pushes players away and annoys them. They're going for this heavy FOMO, or fear of missing out model. Limited time modes that are only there for a couple of weeks and then disappear. So let's take a look at this new roadmap that we got for Season 2. On this page, what actually adds depth to the gameplay? In the first beat, February, we've got one new map here, Contaminated. That adds long-term depth. People could still play on that map years from now. VL7 Strike Limited Time Mode. This is gas on certain areas of the new map where people hallucinate in the gas and they have to wear a gas mask to not hallucinate. Does that add any long-term depth to the game? No. It's an annoying gimmick and it's gone in a few weeks. Gauntlet Altered State and BR Synthesis. Limited time modifiers for the free-to-play modes. Gas on the map. Does it add anything long-term? No. Putting some gas on the BR map isn't going to make people come back and play it. New hardware here. Little Bird. New vehicle. Yes. That's a new toy to play with that I assume will be added to other maps that have helicopters. Great. New guns and gadgets here too. Amazing. Permanent additions to play with. In Beat 2, March, second new map, Hargental Base. Good. It's BF6's version of Operation Metro. Infantry only. Great for players who want that meat grinder style gameplay, but I'd argue that this type of map isn't leaning in to what makes Battlefield stand out and separate itself from other first-person shooter competition. But it's still a new map, that's good. It does add long-term depth to the game. Nightfall and Gauntlet Nightfall, limited time modes on the new map and Gauntlet, but it's dark and players get night vision goggles to equip. That's going to be gone in a few weeks. It's filler content. Defense Testing Complex 3. This is a new point of interest on the Battle Royale map. This is good. It's a new area to explore and fight in. That adds depth. Again though, the BR has been woefully supported. This is the first kind of major update since RedSec, the Battle Royale, launched. It's great that they've done at least something here, but it's just not enough to sustain a healthy player base in a free-to-play Battle Royale. New hardware here. Brilliant. Motorbike. Hopefully it's added to the other maps too. And this could be really fun and create some great sandbox cinematic moments across the board. Two more guns here. Good. Beat 3 in April. Operations mode comes back. That's a beloved, highly requested mode from Battlefield 1 that adds narrative and connects maps together. Incredible.
But it's only limited time.
It's a limited time mode. Yeah. Why? I don't get it. This would be such an easy win for Battlefield to add to other grouped up maps in the game and make it a permanent thing, but no, it's an LTM. Portal updates really depends what this is, but I'm guessing something to do with adding gas to Portal creations, so I'm not sure about this one. New bonus path, new battle pass, that's filler, no one really cares about that. New vehicle, LTV, cool. Looks like an armored transport vehicle, adds depth. And then finally, a new machete, a melee weapon. I don't see how it's going to be that different or impactful to the other options currently available. So
okay, but that's crazy how they brought back a mode that people like and they made it a limited time mode. So I guess my question with Battlefield is not necessarily the developers. Is it upper management? Is it upper management? Because we have seen time and time again how upper management can actually kill a game. Prime example will be Overwatch. I mean, Go back and look at the history of what Overwatch had, what Blizzard had to deal with that horrific upper management that they had back then. I think that's the reason why we even got Overwatch 2. That's the reason why we why Overwatch was sucking for a majority for the majority of the time, you know. And now these past couple years, they fixed up all the problems that upper management gave them, and now they're finally able to put all that behind them and start to actually, you know, make a good game, because now they're actually able to, they have creative freedom to make characters. They now have a set release schedule. Like, upper management can get in the way a lot, and I think that's what goes under the radar. Like, upper management, like, if you have problems with upper management, it just trickles down. It just trickles down. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
So I'm going to say that that's not really a big deal overall gameplay. So looking at that image now, we've assessed it. 50% of it is irrelevant to me as a player. Half of it is just limited FOMO filler content that doesn't add to the sum of the parts of the game. And it's taken up developer resources, time and money to build. And it's just going to be removed in a month. Yeah, NVG mode, that might be fun for a couple of rounds. Operations will be good fun while it's there. But then it's all gone. Just seems like a massive waste of time to me. So they're going for this high intensity FOMO model, which I don't think is the right model for the audience of Battlefield games. And they're not really focusing on things that matter to the core players. I'd guess based on experience that the average age demographic for Battlefield players is like 20 to 35 year olds. And you'll have some people too in that 35 to 40s range that played a lot of Battlefield 1942 and BF2 growing up, that just play all the games still. The point is that it leans into more of a mature audience that maybe don't have as much time to play games anymore. Instead, they've got to focus on life, family, work, etc. And perhaps they only have a couple of hours a night to choose what to play. Considering how stiff the competition is now, are Battlefield doing enough to get those players to play? I don't think they are. You know, maybe they picked BF6 and they heard that operations came back, but wait, you missed it. It was only an LTM, sorry. That's just going to annoy people. Stop time gating everything, make it permanent instead, and actually build on your game. To their credit, they have recently communicated planned updates to netcode, gunplay, and audio, which is nice to see, but they're still not addressing a couple of key topics. For example, the terrible weapon progression in multiplayer. Players are being forced.
Let me see. Unacceptable grind takes 3,000 plus hours to unlock all attachments. Weapon progression is designed to be an eternal grind, and you guys don't even know to what degree. Since BF6 requires the amount of XP equivalent to about 2,500 kills to unlock all attachments for a single weapon. Oh, Lord.
To grind literally thousands of kills per weapon to unlock basic gameplay content like attachments for guns. They're gating far too much gameplay content here, and the server browser situation is the worst offender for me. I cannot understand why a proper server browser isn't in Battlefield 6. Feedback on server browser goes back as far as Battlefield 1 in 2016 when it started to change a little bit, then Battlefield 5 in 2018, and in Battlefield 2042 in 2021, they heavily focused on matchmaking with non-persistent servers. People push back on that a lot, and since BF 2042, again, they've had detailed face-to-face survey discussion boards, Twitter, Reddit, video feedback on this topic, and they should know how vital it is for Battlefield players. Surely people that work on the game have played some of the older games and know that it's critical for community building, for player choice, and it allows players in lower population regions to find matches. Also, it naturally extends the life of the game. The biggest problem here is that the official quick play servers are not displayed in the server browser anywhere, and the servers are not persistent. There's no official Conquest 64 all maps rotation, for example. And I'm going to spell it out here too. When I click quick play and join a server, that server should now be displayed in the server browser under an official server filter. And players should be able to browse all of those servers and filter them by player count, map, game mode, etc. like we used to have. This also encourages people to use the server browser more, and it gives community servers a chance to grow. So why not both systems is my question. Why not quick play feeding into the server browser too? Now, I've seen some people say that official servers are in Portal already, but this is not the same thing. After a few awkward searches and clicks, you might be able to find an experience hosted by Battlefield Portal Official, and then you click See More by Creator and see if there's any servers. But these are not the official quick play servers. These are servers that are hosted by players just using the BF Portal official playset for whatever game mode, and no one ever joins them. Why would they? Again, they have had this feedback for almost 10 years now since Battlefield 1. So why isn't this feature implemented properly in Battlefield 6? Maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they want strict control of the matchmaking to force certain players together. That could be it. But if that's the case, I think that's the wrong direction for the game, and players should have that choice to play where they want to. Why do I care about this? Well, I'm a fan of the franchise and I want it to succeed and grow. It's a product that people pay for too, and I think that they could be doing a far better job for those people, not just in the seasonal content, but also in the base game. And I just wish that they would do away with this FOMO model, drip feeding content. People can see through it. It's been done for years now. They're not respecting the time of the players, and the players won't respect them back.
That is true.
And if they stay on this road,
I don't know why.
I don't think it's going to end well.
I don't know why developers do that. Like, I mean, I get it, like, for some events, yeah, but, like, why is the majority of your content, like, FOMO content? Right? Like, it just... I mean, like, one example I would say with, like, with Marvel Rivals and, like, how they have limited skins. Now, like, I understand that some skins, you just have to be there to get them, right? Like, event skins and whatnot. But, like, a skin you put in the shop, why the hell is it timed? Like, that makes no sense to me. You're throwing away money. You're literally throwing away money. Because what if someone didn't have the money to get it, and then when they did, you can't get the skin anymore, right? It's
and the sentiment won't change. Instead, redirect and just focus on building a good Battlefield game full of maps and toys to play with. And listen to feedback from players too. Take it seriously and act on it well in advance. The problem that the game finds itself in now could have been avoided. Hemorrhaging players and people complaining about lack of real content and features. This stuff has been discussed ad infinitum. The writing was on the wall, but little or no attention was paid to it. And I know some people will say, bro, EA don't care about customers. I think in this case, they have to. And I definitely think that the devs care too. Battlefield is one of their biggest franchises. It was probably their best-selling game last year. It's the only realistic mainstream Call of Duty competition, as far as I can think of. And obviously, it's targeted the COD players with Battlefield 6 by shortening the time to engagement, making the map smaller, nerfing vehicle gameplay, adding open weapons to classes, etc. Doing all of that stuff, the game has lost a lot of depth. But the issue with this is that if they can't retain that player base with their live service model or attract new players in, they will see that as a massive failure. And I just think that they need someone at the top who really knows Battlefield and sense checks everything well before it's greenlit or goes out to the players. So I do think that they care to a certain degree, and they'll definitely care some more when they see that MTX and Battle Pass spending isn't what they predicted it to be, because the players simply aren't sticking around. So it would be prudent to try and fix this situation. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Do let me know your thoughts below. I still think the base game is fun. I typically have a good time playing it on some maps, but the lack of new content is concerning as a regular player. And I hope that they look at improving some of the fundamentals, adding some of that classic sandbox back into the game, bigger maps, more depth, more team play. Again, this was all discussed well before the game came out, en masse from the beta 2. And I've got some gameplay on Monday from the new map, Contaminated. I'll be allowed to release that then, which I think is pretty good. But as we've talked about, it's only one new map.
Okay. Well, that's about it. So, damn. That's interesting. So it just seems like Battlefield, because I didn't play Battlefield 6. But from the outside looking in, I was like, damn, y'all good over there? Because it did not seem like the game was as good as y'all was hyping it up to be. Um, so it just seemed like Battlefield 6 just didn't listen to feedback, and they just kind of they just thought. I think what they were thinking is what it seems like. They were thinking that they could just release the game, and because COD was in a bad state, that people would have no choice but to play Battlefield. That obviously is not the case. There's plenty of FPS games out there. Um, and plus, now with people like you have to retain people's attention spans by like routine updates, routine content. So, but only 2 maps a season? That's insane. That's actually insane. Not gonna lie. Especially the fact that y'all used to get what like 4 to 6 a season, and now y'all only getting 2, like 1 a month. That is insane. So I definitely do think it's gonna be a wake up call for them. Uh, it might not be this season, but maybe next season they'll start finally listening and adding all of the stuff that he mentioned. You know, maybe more content, less FOMO content, uh, all of that. So yeah, but it's crazy to see how how Battlefield 6 like kind of fell off. I mean, let me go to the player counts. So they had an all-time peak of 600K, and now they only have a peak of 58K, which is not bad. But like, I think you would want this obviously to be more around 70 to 100K, because going from 60 600 to about 60. That's insane. That is insane. It's an insane drop off. Oh Lord. Yeah, so what do they? I mean, I think they just have to give new maps, and then like what Jack said, make it Battlefield. Like don't cater to COD players, because yeah, COD is in a bad state, and you might get some turnover from that, but people buy Battlefield to play Battlefield, and there's nothing wrong with having maps with only infantry or less vehicles and whatnot. Because don't get me wrong, like I'm not a big Battlefield guy, but like getting killed by someone who's just in a helicopter the entire game is kind of like, come on, dude, like what are you doing? But that's part of the Battlefield experience, so you need to embrace that. Um, but yeah, I mean, so you have to make Battlefield Battlefield. Um, yeah, listen to the community, and so yeah, it'd be nice to see what it's gonna look like after, because I don't think they'll be able to turn around this season, because it's the season roadmap is already laid out. I want to see what they do next season. So when season 3 rolls around, if it's gonna be good or bad, I am sure Jack Frags will make another video and I'll react to it then. And I would like to see exactly how different it would be. Anyway, that's all I got. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.
With authority, looking like Sky she got a body, ayy. And she been calling me daddy lately. Want me to put her in Cartiers, and the bitch deserve it. Put in work for the money she earn it. Give me top every night lip service. Then I gotta block these hoes, she worth it. I'm out in Abu Dhabi.